Welcome back. Today we're reading Chapter 7. River of Fire. Join us, invited Woes. Puzzled, Lindenbrook sat down at the table. His eyes were feasting on the piles of fruit before him. But as he reached for a big reddish melon, the Count's hand struck it away sharply. "You said for me to join you," Lindenbrook protested. "The prince suggested you sit," Saknussemm sneered. "I don't think he meant for you to share our meal." They turned toward the blind prince. The Count tapped a bullet lightly on the table. The threat of the deafening explosion was clear. "No," said Walls. "Sit, but do not eat." Lindenbrook sank back in his chair and tried not to look at the tempting pile of food within his reach. It was not easy. "Now," the Count continued, "a favor. I should like your pistol, Professor." "I'm sorry," Lindenbrook replied. "I don't have it with me." "We'll soon see," muttered Saknussemm. "Torg, kindly search the professor's person." The seaman leaped off his chair and hurried to Lindenbrook. With a powerful yank, he pulled the professor to his feet. Two hands angrily slapped down both sides of the standing professor as he searched for the pistol. He found nothing. He yanked open Lindenbrook's jacket and shoved his hands into each pocket. Nothing. There, he groped for a hidden shoulder holster and even checked to be sure Lindenbrook's boots concealed no pistol. "Nothing," grunted Torg, shoving Lindenbrook down hard into his chair. "Perhaps," the professor suggested quietly, "you'll believe me next time." "Then where is it?" Saknussemm demanded angrily. "I dropped it," Lindenbrook answered. "It fell from my pocket when those bats seized me. As I recall, it dropped just as they were taking me over the River of Fire." Lindenbrook smiled pleasantly as the Count's face reddened in anger. "Don't think you've outwitted me," raged Saknussemm. "I am the royal advisor here. You are a slave." There was truth in that, Lindenbrook thought to himself. But if only Alec had understood his last words, perhaps the Count's power would come to an end. If only he had had more time to explain to his youthful student the plan those rocks at the lava field had inspired. Alec picked up the professor's pistol, where it had fallen on the hillside. "Come on, Alec. Must we always wait for you?" scolded Cindy. Alec was studying a rock next to the mica-like formation. It was a soft, tufa volcanic rock. Alec could see where the professor's pistol butt had chipped away a sample. "Well?" insisted Cindy. Oh, with a sigh, Alec turned from the hillside and joined Cindy, Lars, and Gertrude. They were sitting by a bubbling lava pool some distance away from the other slaves. Cindy pulled on a piece of string, and the collapsible pot she carried in her pack came out of the pool. Inside was a steaming fruit soup. She quickly poured it out for the amazed men. "Soup," marveled Alec. "But how did you ever manage?" "Well," replied Cindy, glowing with pride, "you're lucky. You have a woman to watch over you." Lars nodded his head in agreement. He was busily eating. When they were finished, Cindy dropped the pot back into the scalding lava pit and pulled it out, cleaned and sterilized. "Now I know," shouted Alec, rising suddenly. Lars and Cindy turned and watched him rush off. Exchanging a look of puzzlement, they followed Alec to a small hill nearby. "Now you know what?" demanded Cindy. "I know why the professor peeled off this mica-type rock," Alec answered. "So do I," scoffed Cindy. "He was bored and angry and trying to keep himself busy." Alec didn't answer her. Instead, he handed each of them a half-inch thick strip of the mica-like rock. He bent his own strip over his eyes, like sunglasses. And then held it in place with one hand. "So what?" sighed Cindy. "Now we can scout the river of fire without risking our eyesight," Alex exulted. "By golly, yes," agreed Lars. "Then maybe we find a way over it." But first, they had to find a way to escape from the rear guards who patrolled the area inside the fiery ring of lava. "Gertrude," Lars whispered into her ear. "Make them all look at you, yes?" Gertrude quacked and fluttered her wings. Then she waddled determinedly toward the two nearest reargs. Her head swung back and then pumped forward. "Yow!" screamed the guard as her bill dug into his shin. Again, the duck's bill struck. Trained to find things by sound, the rearg listened a moment and then darted after the flapping duck. In a moment, he called a companion to help. They busily but vainly pursued the duck as she flapped skillfully and then flew, just out of range of their lava lances. "Now we go," whispered Lars, seeing that the guards were occupied with Gertrude. Holding the mica sunglasses over their eyes, they were soon near enough to see the lava river, which appeared to be about 10 feet wide. They could advance no closer to it, however, because of its searing heat. Too wide to jump, too hot to wade across, the lava river looked like an impassable, imprisoning barrier. Join me next time as we read Chapter 8, Slaves' Rebellion. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you'll come back for Chapter 8.